In a world where imagination is king and Lego reigns supreme,
there's value. Then there's foot-long value. Because size matters.
together, strong. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, only in cinemas May 9.
Get the power of Tyre Power's Mega May sale.
With mega savings on a range of Falcon all-terrain tyres, buy 3 and get 1 free.
And have a mega safe month on the road.
Tyre Power. Get the power.
The High Reach Cleaning Pole from Cut Above Tools, a lightweight sturdy cleaning pole with 6 different attachments. Use with or without water. Extends to 5 metres, weighs just 1.2 kilos. Select your pole, select your attachments. cutabovetools.com.au.
Here's another powerful reason to choose Tyre Power. You get the power of a big range of leading tyre brands.
Perfect for whatever car you drive.
So get the power at Tyre Power. Get the power of Australia's biggest independent.
The revolutionary jack belt now comes in the finest, durable, full-grain leather. Adjusting by millimeters for a perfect fit, it makes a wonderful gift for everyone. Order your full-grain leather jack belt from jackoz.com. That's jackoz.com.
Welcome to Housing World, showcasing 67 luxury home designs for first home buyers to family homes or grand designs to granny flats. If you are thinking of building, come and explore Housing World for yourself.
This is a property management game changer. Scan the code for instant access to your rental income, 24/7 real-time financial reporting, plus a commission-free trial, all from your phone. Ray White, Belmont and Swansea. A new world of property management.
If you're an executor of a will, do you understand your risks and responsibilities?
As an executor, you need clarity. For an informative chat,
Turn to the experts at Turnbull Hill Lawyers.
Good people to turn to.
Yeah, hello, look, I'm ready for my close-up. Want to know what will run rings around you? Brazen rural gear, of course. Did you get my right side? Find your local supplier at brazen.com.au. I felt the energy.
And I've heard the roar.
And truth be told, I'll be here now and forever.
Because we are all bound together.
60 Minutes delves into the shameful issue gripping our nation. Danielle wanted love.
She was such a light.
On their third date, a coward took her life.
And then you learn that this wasn't the first woman he'd hurt. The system failed. Was this a murder waiting to happen? I believe so.
It's time to end the violence. Must see tonight.
Here's another powerful reason to choose Tyre Power.
We're 100% Aussie.
There's value. Then there's foot-long value. Because size matters.
Next week we're at the Dolphins.
Great.
Then we've got to see the glowworms.
The glowworms?
Imagine hundreds of flashbulbs, but they're natural.
Yeah, I can picture that. There's so much of New Zealand to see. We're going to live cross from New Zealand, right?
Absolutely.
With a website from GoDaddy, you can sell in all ways. Like Blooms by the Bay Florist. The owner said, I want our business to flourish and reach more customers. You can use GoDaddy to build a website and online store. So easy. No design or coding skills needed. This landed them their first online orders. Ordering that, ready to collect. Which led to, love it, smashed it. And with marketing tools from GoDaddy, business is still blooming. GoDaddy, with you all the way.
I love the sunburnt country. A land of sweeping plains, of ragged mountain ranges, of drought and flooding rains. country isn't so lucky?
Lucky you're with Amy.
Ever get the feeling you aren't where you're meant to be? Working out the way forward can be daunting, but Open Universities Australia can help you take the first step. We make it easier to start studying in a way that works for you. To explore degrees, certificates and short courses from Australia's leading universities, visit open.edu.au today. Here to guide you there.
Australia, the new Isuzu D-Max is reinvigorated and ready for life. No matter where you take it, from life in the city to finding new, faraway places. Knuckling down, or just soaking up the best of our beautiful country. Life is reinvigorated with the new Isuzu D-Max. Go your own way.
$8 boxes? Great shout!
...2023 was a year of firsts for Ford Ranger. #1 selling vehicle. And Ranger Raptor was #1 at Think. Make Ranger Raptor your #1 today at your local Ford dealer.
Alcoholic ginger beer, a tasty Aussie ginge. Nicorette Quick Mist, available every day at Chemist Warehouse. And Harvey Norman, shop in store or at hn.com.au.
Wash and skin. Australia, the new Isuzu D-Max is reinvigorated and ready for life. No matter where you take it, from life in the city to finding new, faraway places. Knuckling down, or just soaking up the best of our beautiful country. Life is reinvigorated with the new Isuzu.
Harvey Norman Huge Coffee Expo. Spend $200 or more and get 10% of your purchase price in gift cards. Plus, more bonuses in store and online and via redemption. Hot price on the Breville Barista Express. Save $30 and get 10% in gift cards. Save $120 on the Nespresso Virtuo Creatista by Breville. Plus, receive 10% in gift cards. Create hot and iced coffees with the DeLonghi Aletta Explore. Plus 10% in gift cards. Hurry, more Coffee Expo deals at Harvey Norman now.
Well, we've got big value. The iconic Subway foot-long sub. Because we know size matters.
Is this a pointless ad?
Well, if you're not an existing Telstra customer, it is.
Stupid ad.
Tonight, radicalised online, a 16-year-old boy shot dead by police after stabbing a stranger in a Bunnings car park. Murder charges expected over the disappearance of 2 Australian brothers in Mexico, a possible motive revealed. Torrential downpours caused flash flooding on the mid-coast, the SES rescuing one man from the roof of his car. University debts to be slashed in a major HECS overhaul. And the Knights defend their castle with a hard-fought battle in slippery conditions.
This is NBN News with Jane Goldsmith.
Good evening. Almost 3 weeks on from the alleged terror attack in Sydney, and another teenager has gone on a stabbing frenzy, this time in Perth. Police shot and killed the 16-year-old who rushed at them with a 30-centimetre kitchen knife. It's believed he had been radicalised online, and police say his motives had all the signs of a terror attack.
These are the final minutes of this teenager's life, spent frantic in a Bunnings car park. He's chasing after police, wielding a 30-centimetre kitchen knife. Out of the car, a standoff and one gunshot.
The police who responded acted professionally. within their training.
Trained to give first aid, that's what officers did. 1 hour after warning police that he was out for blood, the 16-year-old was pronounced dead. Officers responding after the boy attacked a stranger, stabbing him in the back.
I have seen the body-worn video. I am comfortable with the police professional approach within training. They have done their job.
Willetton, a suburb in Perth South, locked down at the hands of a teenager. This morning, a crime scene.
We are dealing with complex issues with this 16-year-old male, both mental health issues, but also online radicalisation issues.
Police say he called 000 at about 10:10 last night, telling the operator he was going to commit acts of violence, but didn't say where. A short time later, another 000 call, this time from a member of the public, informing officers of a male running around a car park with a knife. 3 officers arriving within 3 minutes.
When he was chasing the police car around, he was holding it like around his waist area, and then when he's running towards a police car, obviously he was holding up in the air.
There are indications he had been radicalised online. It appears that he acted solely and alone.
After mass murder at Bondi Junction last month and the church stabbing in Wakeley, WA's top cop this morning on the phone to Australia's Federal Police Commissioner.
I've also spoken to the Commissioner of New South Wales Police, Karen Webb, just to talk through some of those issues that she went through in the most recent one in New South Wales.
It's now emerged members of WA's Muslim community had raised red flags in the lead up to last night.
We not only condemn this in the harshest terms possible, but we would also like to mention that Islam has nothing to do with any act of violence that are committed in its name.
The Prime Minister issuing a statement saying there's no ongoing threat to the community on the information available. We are a peace-loving nation and there is no place for violent extremism in Australia. Police describe the boy as a Caucasian male who converted to Islam. Since the age of 14, he's been part of a program designed to help people who become radicalised online. Its aim is to stop terror attacks. Police aren't calling it that yet, but say it has all the hallmarks. Michael Genovese, NBN News.
3 Mexican nationals have been charged with forced kidnapping in relation to the disappearance of Australian brothers Callum and Jake Robinson. Today, one of Callum's closest friends spoke of his kindness and his bright personality, telling NBN News he lit up a room.
A show of force on the streets of Ensenada, the closest town to where Callum and Jake Robinson were last seen. Mexican officials now believe the Australian brothers and their American friend were ambushed by 3 Mexican nationals after their white ute. There was resistance, shots fired, shell casings found by their tents. The 3 Mexicans have been charged with forced kidnapping. Jesus Cota, his alias is El Quecas, his partner Ari, and El Quecas' brother Christian Alejandro Garcia. They were all found in possession of methamphetamine. Sources tell 9 News they're expected to be charged with murder in the days to come. On top of the hill where 3 bodies were found yesterday, an abandoned cabin. Inside, possessions believed to be from the Perth brothers campsite. The beaches along Baja make it a draw card for tourists, but beyond the bustling coastline there are warring cartels and one of the highest crime rates in all of Mexico. Were you in contact with Callum after he left for Mexico?
I didn't hear from him, and my mom asked me if I heard from him, and I was like, I think he's mad at me. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I think he's mad at me. Something doesn't seem right.
Hayley Jacobs is one of Callum Robinson's dearest friends. She last saw him the morning he left for Mexico. She's crippled with grief, but wants to pay tribute to her favourite Aussie.
If we're at a restaurant and we were having dinner and he asked for the waiter's name, he would write his name down in his notes in his phone, how he met him and how he connected with him. And he showed me the notes, and it was hundreds of people's names that he met. He just lit up a room.
For years, Callum has been based in the US, living out his dream of playing professional lacrosse.
I asked him what his goals were in life, and he just said that he wanted to go to Australia and raise a family. And
a.m. And it doesn't look like the rain is moving anywhere soon.
Today, his Stevenson University team paid tribute, a minute's silence for the man they called Big Koala.
We just want to say the Robinson family that, all our alumni arms are all around you.
In Ensenada, Mexico, Alison Petrowski, NBN News.
The Mid-Coast and Port Stephens have been lashed by heavy rain overnight, and some areas experienced minor flooding earlier today. Reporter Montana Clare joins us live from the newsroom now. Montana, experts say it was an incredibly localised downpour.
Jane, while the Bureau of Meteorology doesn't have rain gauges in the Tea Gardens or Hawke Nest areas, they said the radar displayed intense rainfall. Residents in the area say they recorded anything from 50 to 200 millimetres in the past 24 hours. And while the water has now subsided, rain saw many roads close this morning due to flooding. New South Wales SES rescuing someone from the roof of their car along Mile Way at Tea Gardens before 7 a.m. And it doesn't look like the rain is moving anywhere soon, with heavy showers forecast along the coast tonight.
Along the coastline, there is a chance of heavy totals, so that would be the risk of flash flooding and road closures potentially of totals up to maybe 100 millimetres.
Jane, it's a reminder to stay alert and monitor the changing conditions and don't drive through floodwaters.
It's good advice, Montana. Thank you. Investigations into the stabbing death of a 22-year-old man on the Mid-North Coast have continued today. Police divers were searching Coffs Creek this morning following the incident which occurred near Park Beach on Thursday morning. The attacker is still yet to be located. Police remaining tight-lipped on the results of today's search. New South Wales Parliament will this week consider new laws to track alleged domestic violence abusers while they're out on bail. The opposition's proposed reforms would expand the use of electronic monitoring and make it easier for courts to refuse bail.
This is about saving lives. This is about protecting women and children. This is about a common sense approach.
The Minns government will tomorrow announce details of an emergency funding package for survivors, just days after a crisis cabinet meeting on the issue. And the community push for action on violence against women continued today, with crowds braving the rain to drum up support.
They grew by a supersized 7.1% last year. Young Australians already feeling squeezed out of the housing market hit particularly hard.
This is a huge conversation I've had definitely with all my peers at university. The government's heard it and we're acting.
Uni debts will now be indexed by wage growth or inflation, whichever is lower, backdated to last year when wage growth was just over 3%. Independent MP Monique Ryan collected more than 270.
And we're acting.
Uni debts will now be indexed by wage growth or inflation, whichever is lower, backdated to last year when wage growth was just over 3%.
In other words, we're going to wipe out what happened last year and make sure that it never happens again.
Someone with an average HECS debt of $26,500 will have to repay $1,200 less. A $50,000 debt will be effectively slashed by more than $2,200, double for those with a $100,000 student loan.
This is going to cut HECS debt for about 3 million Aussies by about $3 billion.
Independent MP Monique Ryan collected more than 270,000 signatures from those demanding the change.
The government has listened, and I thank them for that.
The architect of HECS, economist Bruce Chapman, says the changes will allow student debts to be paid a little faster.
For somebody with an expected time period of repayment, say 10 years, this will take about 6 months off.
It won't provide any immediate assistance for students, but on the balance, it's still a pretty good move.
Given this won't reduce HECS repayments, only the size of debts, the government can't claim it as a cost of living measure, but millions will welcome it anyway. Andrew Probyn, NBN News.
A decision by Maitland Council to prioritise asbestos remediation at Walker Waterworks has halted plans for an accommodation hub to be built at the site. $10 million of state government funding was secured in 2022 to construct camping spots, cabins and new amenities at the site. Council says the tourism plans have not yet been completely abandoned. Cost of living pressures, working conditions and the dire housing crisis, all issues that are front of mind for workers in the Hunter. Union members took to the streets of Newcastle today, walking to Foreshore Park as part of the annual May Day March.
Persistent rain wasn't enough to stop people marching through Newcastle this morning, an annual display of
for workers in the Hunter. Union members took to the streets of Newcastle today, walking to Foreshore Park as part of the annual May Day March.
Persistent rain wasn't enough to stop people marching through Newcastle this morning, an annual display of unity for workers' rights, celebrating 130 years since May Day marches first started in the Hunter.
Struggling together, fighting together, winning together, that's what we do!
From Newcastle Museum to the Foreshore train sheds, union members and politicians sharing stories about how change happens.
This year, for example, we're celebrating the 50 years of the equal pay case. That remarkable case from 1974 that affected millions of Australian workers who finally got paid equal amounts of money for the same jobs that men were doing.
Conscious there's still more to do.
There are important things to still be gained. As I said, there's deep systemic inequities that still exist for a lot of women in the workforce.
Held in conjunction with International Workers' Day, issues raised this May Day range from the region's energy transition.
We're on the cusp of an industrial revolution here in the region, and workers need to be at the centre of that. We need good solid union agreements, good solid union jobs, with good solid union wages.
To the state of our education system.
We need our schools fully funded. The state and federal government has a responsibility to end the neglect and fully fund our public schools.
Unions pledging to keep up the fight for years to come.
A real good crowd come out today, even when it's been pouring down rain. So, we are a union town and really, really proud of it.
Olivia Dillon, NBN News.
We're being encouraged to say thank you to those who help deliver babies. International Day of the Midwife serves as a reminder of the important work they do for women and families across the world. Local professionals today gathering in Newcastle to reflect on the significance of their role and the impact it has on the lives of their patients.
Being able to be during the pregnancy with them and then at the birth and then follow through afterwards, it's just such a rewarding part of the job and being with them in that space.
The event was marked with celebrations across the local health district. Newcastle's inner city residents may have had a more silent start to their Sunday than usual, with the town hall clock experiencing technical issues and currently not chiming. While locals are concerned the clock has stopped, Newcastle Council says they're working to restore its normal operations in a timely manner, but have said that the age of the mechanism makes the repairs complex and specialists have advised it will need to be upgraded. Hunter beaches are a hive of activity during the summer months, but there's one group who make it their home in winter too. The Merryweather Mackerels dive into the ocean baths no matter how low the mercury drops. The group celebrating more than 40 years of reaping the positive benefits for both their physical and mental health.
The conditions were less than ideal in Newcastle this morning, but the Merryweather Mackerels wouldn't have it any other way.
It's all about just having a go, and even in weather like this, getting out and enjoying it.
Starting their winter swimming season in style, warming up their pipes,
Holy mackerel, let's have another beer!
before braving the icy water. The Mackerels make a splash, rain, hail or shine every Sunday until late August. And while temperatures were comparatively balmy today...
Some people call this our warm-up, but it's our cold-up.
They thrive in the cold.
I like the buzz of the cold water.
I love the buzz.
It's very buzzy.
It's about taking people out of their comfort zone and doing it with a bit of
peer encouragement. It's all in good fun.
And research shows there's some incredible health benefits to winter swimming if you can bear the brunt.
They do get the release of the happy hormones there, dopamine, serotonin, hormones that do make you feel better. But over time, with regular swimming like that, your heart rate and blood pressure will actually go down, and that's really good for your cardiovascular health.
We've been going for more than 50 years, and we've got members that have been coming back for more than 40 years. They don't do it for the science, they do it for the friendship, the camaraderie, the challenge of just getting in the water and enjoying it.
Montana Claire, NBN News.
And it would have been quite chilly there at the ocean baths this morning. Looking at the weather for the region, wet and cool today. Heaviest falls in the regions north. Newcastle had a range of 15 to just 18 today. 13 to 19 the range at Maitland. A top of 18 at Tocal, 11 to 20 at Scone, and 11 to 18 today at Merriwar. You're watching NBN News. Still ahead, famine takes hold in Gaza, and there's hope for a new ceasefire deal as leaders meet in Egypt. New cameras being rolled out across the state to catch drivers not wearing seatbelts. And taking away the cotton wool, the Hunter-based childcare centre where risky play rules.
If life's a journey, why not enjoy the ride? Take a back.
But hurry, this special offer won't last. So, to transform the look of your home, you know who to call.
The experts in the trade.
Get unbeatable deals across the range with savings up to $4,000. We've got you covered with petrol, diesel or electric vehicle options. Get a new NY23 Polaris Ranger on a 4.99% per annum, 24-month loan term with no deposit. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Visit PolarisAustralia.com or your nearest dealership today. Terms and conditions apply. Polaris, think outside.
If you're surrounded by stuff and you've had enough, you need electro-dry mini storage. Don't just save space, save money with Newcastle's best value storage. Compare at electroDryStorage.com.au.
If you're surrounded by stuff and you've had enough, you need electro-dry mini storage.
Don't just save space, save money with Newcastle's best value storage. Compare at electroDryStorage.com.au.
For things big and small and short and tall, electro-dry mini storage.
We're so confident we're Newcastle's best value storage. If you find it cheaper, we'll beat it by 20%.
Electro-dry mini storage. Electro-dry mini storage.
The Nick Scali Lounge Sale is on now with up to 50% off leather and fabric lounges. That's up to half price during the Nick Scali Lounge Sale. On now.
Things are really heating up at Heating and Outdoors by Glendale Warehouse. See the huge range of wood heaters, gas heaters and gas log fires, plus friendly service and expert advice. Now at 2 locations, Glendale and Thornton.
Parts of Gaza are now in full-blown famine. That's the bleak assessment from one of the world's leading humanitarian organisations. As hunger on the Strip worsens, ceasefire talks in Egypt enter a delicate stage, renewing hope that a deal could be struck in the coming days.
Children wait in line with saucepans and bowls to be served food. This aid provided to displaced Palestinians in Gaza by World Central Kitchen. It's something, but it's far from enough.
In Israel, the update was delivered to thousands that arrived.
When it comes to food, sometimes we have lunch, but we don't have dinner. And sometimes we have breakfast, but don't have lunch. This man, who has a family of 16, says the conditions in Gaza now so bad, the world's largest humanitarian organisation has made this declaration.
What I can explain to you is that there is famine, full-blown famine in the north, and it's moving its way south.
Full-blown famine as ceasefire talks in Cairo enter a delicate stage. Hamas negotiators are in the Egyptian capital to discuss the latest proposal, which would see at least 33 Israeli hostages released in exchange for a pause in fighting. Egyptian media reporting there has been significant progress.
The reality in this moment is the only thing
standing between the people of Gaza and a ceasefire is a must.
In Israel, the update was delivered to thousands at a rally calling for the hostages to be released.
Today we hear of a deal on a table, awaiting response from Hamas.
Cautious optimism for an outcome when the stakes couldn't be higher. Jessica Millward, NBN News.
Floods are wreaking havoc in Brazil's south, the death toll rising to 57 today, with 67 others still missing. Crucial infrastructure has been destroyed and almost 70,000 people have been displaced. Many residents are being rescued by helicopters after becoming stranded on rooftops. Indonesia's Sulawesi Island has also been smashed by severe weather and 14 people have been killed. Torrential rain has triggered a flood and a landslide. 42 homes were swept away and more than 100 were seriously damaged. The Mayor of London has won a historic third term, but he couldn't win over everyone. A heckler disrupted Sadiq Khan's victory speech, shouting the Labour politician has, quote, killed London. He's the first third-term mayor. His predecessors each served 2. Camera technology will soon be rolled out to counter a surge in the numbers of people dying while not wearing a seatbelt. From July 1, mobile phone detection cameras will also be used to spot seatbelt offences, and the fines are steep.
It's been a legal requirement for more than 50 years, but this has proved some drivers and passengers just don't care. These images captured during a trial, mobile phone detection cameras recording seatbelt offences.
So it's a very small number of people who are doing it, but it is contributing to our road toll. They're twice as more likely to die in an accident.
And that toll has been on the rise. 124 people have been killed on our roads so far this year, 16 more than this time in 2023. 36 people who died last year were not wearing a seatbelt. The penalty if you're caught, a $387 fine and 3 demerit points. From July 1, fixed and mobile phone detection cameras will also now focus on those not wearing seatbelts or not wearing them properly.
We will be able to pick up around 100% of New South Wales's driving population and ensure that they are abiding by the laws.
And it also applies if a driver fails to ensure passengers are complying. But deaths are only part of this story. Not wearing a seatbelt or wearing it incorrectly dramatically increases the chances of traumatic injury, even at lower speeds. And often those injuries can be life-changing. Especially true when, as this woman is doing, looping the belt under her breast.
Crashes at only 60 kilometres an hour, where extreme injury to the spleen, the abdomen can happen as a result of the body being propelled forward.
All of this particularly a problem in regional New South Wales.
We have a third of the population, but we have 2/3 of the road deaths in our road system.
Today marks the start of National Road Safety Week, the Harbour Bridge to be lit up from tonight, a reminder for everyone to drive more carefully and buckle up. Eddie Meyer, NBN News.
Police are tonight looking into what caused a fire at a unit complex in Western Sydney. Emergency services were called to Troy Street at Emu Plains just after midnight. It's believed the fire may have been started by an e-bike charging in a stairwell. 3 people were taken to hospital as a precaution. If you were a child in the last century, you'd notice playgrounds look very different now. Safety, the number one feature. But play of the past is slowly making a comeback, with one preschool in the Hunter focusing on teaching children the importance of taking a risk.
In the olden days, when nurses wore nursing caps, the future toddlers in their arms would soon be shooting down sun-baked slides or pretzeled through monkey bars or using a strop razor. Well, maybe not that.
In play, a lot of the learning that happens is incidental. It's spur of the moment stuff.
But the modern playground with its soft fall surfaces are seemingly robbing preschoolers of real life lessons.
Most modern playgrounds are designed to be as safe as necessary.
So Hamilton Childcare in the Hunter has reintroduced an element of play missing in the modern world. Risk. risk.
They understand intuitively how to assess risk in their play. They understand how high they might be able to climb something. They understand how fast they can move around things.
Called adventurous play, it's about adding risk to play, but not hazard or hovering with help.
We just sometimes will say things like, do you feel safe? Or what can you do next? They become confident and very capable. There's always parameters in place. You're not allowed to climb things if you can't get back down.
It's a concept already in place in other locations such as Centennial Park's Wild Play. Alex recently awarded a state educator's scholarship to investigate the concept of risky play internationally and its effects scholastically.
The children that engage in risky play that are able to climb a tree like they can right earlier.
Because when you're successful with whatever you're working on, you do feel confident, and that, becomes independence.
Mike Dalton, NBN News.
Coming up next, the true impact of a draining summer heatwave on our reef, the startling underwater pictures, new penalties for taxi drivers who refuse service animals, and a behind-the-scenes look at the road to the Olympics with the Hunter's very own straight shooter, Dan Repicoli.
I really want to go.
Okay, I'll think about it.
It's never okay.
Child sexual abuse. Let's end child sexual abuse, one talk at a time. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Every mum deserves to be spoilt on Mother's Day, and here's one of the...
Don't miss your chance to unbox a winner with HelloFresh. With a powerful 2-litre hybrid engine, intelligent 4-wheel drive, and 7 spacious seats, the all-new Tank 500 hybrid.
I love a sunburned country. A land of sweeping plains. Of ragged mountain ranges. Of drought and flooding rains. When the lucky country isn't so lucky.
Lucky you're with Amy.
To celebrate the Garfield movie in cinemas, HelloFresh recipes have had a movie makeover, like this cozy butter chicken. Plus, you could win a double pass to see the Garfield movie in cinemas. Don't miss your chance to unbox a winner with HelloFresh.
With a powerful 2-litre hybrid engine, intelligent 4-wheel drive, and 7 spacious seats, the all-new Tank 500 hybrid out there awaits.
This rest app makes it super simple to choose my investments.
I wonder if finding a decent flatmate could be that simple.
Rest. Super simple. Save at Richie's Family Roast Chicken, $8.99 each. Skin-off chicken breast fillets, $8.99 a kilo. 5 kilo bags of brushed potatoes, just $2.99. Richie's, saving you more.
The McDonald Jones Freedom Sale is on now with free double glazing, free solar, free kitchen upgrades and more. Plus save an incredible $65,000 off your new home. Find your freedom and start saving with McDonald Jones today. Conditions apply.
Jack sold his motorbike in his 20s to buy Mia's engagement ring. Today, it's his turn for a surprise. IMB Bank, right by you.
You're watching NBN News. These are our top local stories. Residents in the Tea Gardens and Hawke's Nest areas have recorded up to 200 millimetres of rain in the past 24 hours. The Bureau says more heavy showers are forecast along the coast tonight. Police divers searched Coffs Creek this morning as investigations continue into the stabbing death of a 22-year-old surfer on Thursday. A new maternity model has been rolled out at Glen Innes Hospital, giving women access to personalised midwives throughout their pregnancy. Until now, staff worked on a rotating roster, leaving their patients with no continuity of care. Central Coast Surf Lifesavers participated in pool rescue simulations at Mingara today, helping them better prepare for different scenarios. And Sydney's Sam Appleton has been crowned Australia's 37th Ironman, taking out the iconic Port Macquarie race in record time. The fine for refusing to pick up an assistance animal in a rideshare or taxi has more than doubled. Offending drivers will be hit.
Rapid uptick in temperatures of the tropics, in fact, of the oceans, and that is putting pressure on an already pressured system.
With a $1,000 fine, up from $300 after the state government received reports of passengers with guide dogs being denied transport. There are about 300 working guide dogs in our state. The jewel in Australia's crown, the Great Barrier Reef, is right now experiencing one of the worst bleaching events on record. Marine scientists are tonight raising the alarm about the frequency of coral heat stress as sea temperatures rise.
From the air, these tropical waters are calm and pristine, but below the surface, it doesn't take long to find signs of an ecosystem in distress.
They've been slowly bleaching, I think, over the last couple of weeks. And I guess some of those will survive, but a lot of them will die.
Marine scientists assessing the devastation caused by a summer heatwave. When the water is too warm, the coral expels the algae that produces this kaleidoscope of colour, starving the stems of their vibrancy and killing them if they remain under heat stress.
We've seen a very rapid uptick in temperatures of the tropics, in fact, of the oceans. And that is putting pressure on an already pressured system.
One of the worst hit reefs is off Heron Island. Usually an undersea paradise, it now looks more like a bone-white graveyard.
The scale of it is very hard to comprehend. To witness the damage at the moment is witnessing something you love start to struggle.
Along this 2,000-kilometre coastline, there are 3,000 individual reefs. 73% have been affected, most severely in the central and southern regions. The Conservation Foundation providing 9 News with a tour of some of the impacted parts. It's such a crisis. The coral patchwork isn't deterring visitors.
Very impressive it was out there. Heaps of fish, big fish, little fish, very bright colours. It was awesome.
The change is noticeable.
Well, I was here as a kid 25 years ago, and so my memory of that back then is that it's probably a lot more healthy.
It's health weighing on the minds of those working on the reef. The tourism industry, worth $6 billion, employing more than 60,000 people. Operators are used to weathering the storm of bleaching events, but the gaps between are getting shorter. This is the 5th in 8 years.
I think to pretend to people when they come out with us that everything's fine, people have woken up to the fact that everything is far from fine, but what are we doing about it?
Sea temperatures are starting to cool, giving the coral a chance to regain its colour, but scientists fear bleaching will become the new summer norm unless there's a concerted effort to reduce climate pressures.
If this happens again next year and so on, corals will eventually lose their ability to fight back.
Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek says the government is pouring more than $1 billion into reef adaptation and resilience, but conservation groups believe more drastic action is needed.
On one hand, the Albanese government says it will protect the reef, but on the other hand, the Albanese government continues to approve new coal and gas projects. It can't have both.
Our unique treasure facing a challenging future, but still hope remains it can be saved.
A lot of the corals are growing back. We've got people planting corals, but it's the frequency of those mass bleaching events and the scary proximity by which they're happening is what's worrying.
On the Great Barrier Reef, a
Liza Edwards, NBN News. Hunter MP Dan Rapicoli is no stranger to the green and gold, a sharpshooter who's represented Australia on the world stage numerous times. But if he makes the Olympic team for Paris this year, he will also make history as the first sitting MP to represent the country at the iconic sporting event.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the House of Power, there's one MP that overshadows the rest. If it's not his bushy beard, it's his size. Dan Rapicoli stands over 2 metres tall, a towering figure, and he's even more imposing with a pistol in his hand.
No stopping him at the moment.
A sharpshooter on target to make history. 6 Commonwealth Games and 5 Olympics under his belt. And he sights on number 6, making him the first politician since hockey player Rick Charlesworth in 1984 to represent Australia at an Olympic Games.
So if I'm lucky enough to qualify for Paris, my goal is to go there and compete the best that I can.
The former coal miner won the federal seat of Hunter in 2022, and as he swapped his high vis for a suit and tie, he quickly realised his skills as a marksman would come in handy.
It brings a lot to the table. It brings in experience of being able to deal in high pressure situations, to deal in uncomfortable situations.
And right now, the pressure is on, looking after his constituents while trying to make the team. His boss, the Prime Minister, has given him a leave pass for the next month or so to compete in qualifying shootouts around the world.
Being able to put on the green and gold tracksuit, that's a fantastic thing.
And that prospect has Big Dan licking his lips.
The best thing for me has been the dining hall. As you can see, I don't mind a meal or two. There's everything from McDonald's to salads to burgers to pizzas.
Hopefully he can fit in a gold medal as well, proving sport and politics do mix. Damien Ryan, NBN News.
And it's a case of watch this space. He's got one more chance to qualify. But it's time for sport now with Sophie Scanlon, and the Knights have recorded back-to-back wins this afternoon.
Yes, but the Warriors didn't make it easy. After the break, Newcastle's fight to the dying minutes at McDonald Jones Stadium. Also ahead, all the highlights as Cronulla survive a damp derby with the Dragons. Plus, Daniel Ricciardo experiences the best and worst of the F1.
If life's a journey, why not enjoy the ride? Driving. Enjoy a moment together, or a moment to yourself. Watch the world go by and relax. Take it easy. Take the time to listen, to see, to smile. There are more than 365 destinations, but we're all about the journey. New South Wales Trainlink will take you there. Search New South Wales Trainlink and book your ticket today.
Hi, I'm Nat from O'Brien. I get asked all the time, should I worry about this chip? Yeah, you should. Look, this crack started as a chip. And this one too. It happens a lot. At O'Brien, we replace thousands of windscreens, but a chip repair is faster, cheaper and greener. We use our exclusive resin, cure it, nice polish, saving you the cost of a new windscreen. And with car insurance, your chip repair is usually free. For over 100 years, O'Brien has been here for you, so you know you're in expert hands. Book today.
O'Brien.
I'll get this. We're still up for ice skating, or is that on hold?
For afternoon tea.
Oh, that's great.
ANZ Falcon technology learns from thousands of data points on your transactions, so it can help spot the difference between you and fraud. Fraud protection. Now it's personal.
So, you want to make an entrance? It's important to move with purpose. Take in your surroundings. Signal your intention. And enter with poise. Because how you arrive leaves a lasting impression. Arrive in the first ever Lexus LBX.
Looking for a great deal on your electricity? Switch to Energy Australia today and get 18% less than the reference price. Switch today at energyaustralia.com.au or call us on 133 466.
Looking for a contemporary home at an affordable price?
Discover unbeatable value at Domain Homes. Find out how you can save $35,000 and price your new home today at domainhomes.com.au.
It's hard to tell pain, but I didn't want to do things. You know, when you've got 3 kids, you want to get out and about all the time. So having no pain, that's vital. For me, the Good Feet store made a big difference.
See for yourself with a free personalised arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
From country roads, the toughest terrain, and iconic coastal views, the Hunter's Own O'Neill's Tyre and Auto Care have been getting you there and back safely for over 60 years. Because if you've got wheels, you need O'Neill's.
For the first time in 2024, the Knights have strung together 2 wins on the trot, battling tough conditions to get their revenge on the Warriors in a gritty 14-8 victory at home.
The Knights came out firing in slippery conditions at McDonald Jones Stadium. Tyson Gamble making the most of a Hastings grubber. A disallowed try didn't curb Newcastle's enthusiasm, piling the pressure on the visitors.
Hastings for Armstrong, flying across is Nickel touchdown. They've lost it again.
But the Warriors found their strength and fired back.
Towards the pace again. Walker stretches out. He's got it down.
The Knights looked set to answer before Dane Gagai was stopped short by Sean Johnson, but the Knights managed to hold on to lead, headed into the sheds.
And Newcastle with all hands on deck.
2 near misses in the opening 11 of the second spurred the Knights on.
Did he get there? Gladman. Best flying, sliding bodies.
But a late tackle from Jed Cartwright saw Johnson let putting up a steely fight to keep the Warriors' attempted onslaught at bay.
Came to a halt, and that was just feeding time for the defence.
And with the crowd cheering them on,
Here comes a Newcastle call. Oh, lost ball. Listen to the fans.
they managed to hold on for their second win in 2 weeks.
The Knights have got it back to back.
The coach proud of the team's gritty performance.
That's what we want to be known as. That's a Knights footy team, and that's what fills this stadium, that sort of effort.
Montana Clare, NBN News.
They've got a tough run looming, but for now, the Sharks continue to set the pace in the NRL. A 2010 win over arch rivals the Dragons, keeping them unbeaten in over 6 weeks.
Before the rivalry reignited, an emotional moment in Jack Bird's 150th match. Sharks great Luke Lewis presenting Bird his Dragons jersey. Once
the final seconds of the half.
Craig Fitzgibbon made his instructions clear in the sheds. And when
It's a big match, a local derby, and seen the footage this morning of how wet it was down here. And luckily it held off a little bit for us, but yeah, look, it was a tough game, and I think we need that sort of game going into next week.
Giant Callum Brown is facing a 3-game suspension after being charged for a high bump on Tom McCartan in yesterday's loss to the Swans. A sigh of relief for 2 other GWS stars, Toby Green escaping with a fine for striking Jake Lloyd. While scans have cleared Tom Green of a serious ankle injury, he's a chance of facing Essendon on Saturday. Meanwhile, it's been a rough start to the season for the Giants Super Netball team, who are winless after 4 matches following a 69-49 loss to the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Today, the Swifts also went down, beaten 75-59 by West Coast Fever. Daniel Ricciardo felt both the highs and lows of motorsport at the Miami F1 Grand Prix. The Aussie recording his best result in 3 years, finishing 4th in the sprint race before crashing back down to earth in main race qualifying. Ricciardo only managed the 18th fastest time, and after being hit with a penalty last round, he'll start from last on the grid. Max Verstappen won the sprint race and claimed pole for tomorrow's Grand Prix. In a photo finish, Newcastle's Tori Lewis and Team Australia have booked their ticket to the Paris Games in the 4x100 metre relay. Germany won the heat, but it was a nervous wait for the Aussies battling for second, with the top 2 automatically qualifying for the Olympics. The team setting a new national record of 42.83 seconds, sending them through to the World Athletics Relay Decider on Monday. Still to come, Sydney FC book their spot in the A-League semis, but at a cost.
With a website from GoDaddy, you can sell in more ways. Like Blooms by the Bay Florist. The owner said, I want our business to flourish and reach more customers. You can use GoDaddy to build a website and online store. So easy. No design or coding skills needed. This landed them their first...
It's easy to book a telehealth appointment with a doctor or get your prescription delivered straight to your door. Sure, we're still a bit like an old cardigan, but at least we're a sleeveless one.
NIB, as exciting as health insurance gets.
Sweet shoes. Want 'em? Try the Google app for iPhone. Tap this, snap that. What a vibe. Can't name that song? Tap this, hum that. Right. Wait. Tap this, hover over that, and now you know. Find it, hum it, translate it. More ways to search. Download the Google app for iPhone.
Head to hunterwater.com.au.
This report reports in
For information, head to hunterwater.com.au.
This report brought to you by Harvey Norman. Shop in store or at hn.com.au.
The Premier League's title race is alive for another week. Leaders Arsenal defeated Bournemouth 3-0 while Erling Haaland scored 4 goals as Manchester City thrashed Wolves 5-1. Sydney FC has moved into the A-League semis, thrashing Macarthur 4-0 in their elimination final. The Bulls went
Defeated Lake Macquarie 6-1. Meanwhile, Magic appeared to have the game in hand over Valentine, up by 2. That is until Nicholas King scored at the stroke of half-time. But Broadmeadow had more to give. James Presner completing a double in the second to secure 3 points and leave Magic second on the ladder. And the Magic continued for Broadmeadow in the NPLW, securing a 3-1 lead over Zuri.
scored 3 goals in her career, but this strike has been crowned the best of the A-League women's season. The Jet skipper firing the shot from outside the box against the Western Sydney Wanderers, securing the side a point on the road. In round 10 of the NPL,
It has been a successful weekend for wildfires at home.
the road. In round 10 of the NPL, Western defeated Lake Macquarie 6-1. Meanwhile, Magic appeared to have the game in hand over Valentine, up by 2. That is until Nicholas King scored on the stroke of half-time. But Broadmeadow had more to give, James Presner completing a double in the second to secure 3 points and leave Magic second on the ladder. And the Magic continued for Broadmeadow in the NPLW, securing a 3-1 lead over Zuri in the first half. Broadmeadow continued to fire away in the second to extend the margin to 5. Charlestown's Sarah Halverson did her best to close the gap, slotting in a late goal to make it 6-2. All other NPLW fixtures have been postponed due to wet weather. It has been a successful weekend for the Wildfires at home, the women defeating the 2 Blues in style. Hunters scoring 32 unanswered points in the Jack Scott Cup, while in the Shute Shield it was a much closer battle. Under grey skies, the Wildfires didn't wait long to open their account at Newcastle's number 2 sports ground.
Linking it out wide, they get on here for far high.
And he rips out of the tackle and scores.
Western Sydney found space on the wing before half-time. Across the line, it got heated.
They hit back. And it's a fiery one to say the least.
The sides locked at 7 points apiece. The Wildfires wasting an opportunity when David Meckie went high on a tackle.
And he sprayed it.
The visitors didn't make the same mistake.
It's a good strike. And the flags go up.
Out of the sheds and the two Blues were flying.
Links up nicely. They're short of the line. Western Sydney. They go again down the short side. Ball dribbles out. But the try's called.
The Wildfires had plenty left in the tank. Ethan Morgan's boot shrunk the margin with 5 minutes left, and the Hunters.
Pretty frustrating day. We're in the mix in all the races at various moments, but when we're still quite an inexperienced team, when you have to do evasive action and avoid boats and deal with all the quote-unquote tactical stuff, our handling's still not quite up to that.
The final day of racing gets underway early tomorrow morning at 3. By the time we wake up, there'll be a crowd. That's fingers crossed. Thanks, so.
Blows tied up at 12 at the halfway mark. It seems the Tigers ran out of puff in the second as the Rosellas flew home to a 2012 win, handing the entrants their first loss of the season. There has been no shortage of action in Sal GP.
We've all been feeling cost of living pressures. That's why the Australian...
Skippered by Lake Macquarie's Nathan Atteridge has their work cut out, sitting in 9th.
It's a pretty frustrating day. We're in the mix in all of the races at various moments, but when we're still quite an inexperienced team, when you have to do evasive action and avoid boats and
Every taxpayer. Visit tax cuts.
deal with all the boat-on-boat tactical stuff, our handling's still not quite up to that.
The final day of racing gets underway early tomorrow morning at 3. So by the time we wake up, there'll be a winner crowned.
Nice, fingers crossed. Thanks, Soph. Well, the weather's not quite over yet. Stay with us. We'll check Hunter weather details, including our 7-day outlook, next.
Grand finale week kicks off with a superhero spectacular.
Wow. Next on 9 and 9 now.
We've all been feeling cost of living pressures. That's why the Australian government is bringing in tax cuts from the 1st of July for every taxpayer. For the people out there and the ones in here. The ones up there and the people down there. Because these aren't tax cuts for some, they're tax cuts for every taxpayer. Visit taxcuts.gov.au to find out how they will benefit you. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra. Movement that inspires.
With 50% off a range of homewares across tableware, bed linen, cookware and more. And don't forget, Maya One members can earn credits on every...
Like teachers with real classroom experience. Better bushfire detection and prevention. Strong biosecurity at our borders. More doctors and nurses. And mold that eats plastic. Healthier koalas, safer cars, cleaner water. For more ways universities benefit us all, visit universitiesmatter.edu.au.
Cracking, crackling, award-winning pork. With Coles Australian Pork Boneless Leg Roast, now just $7 a kilo. Save $4 a kilo. That's great value, hands down, at Coles.
Need a bigger bed? Buy any size mattress at Bedshed and you'll only pay the price of a single. Plus, get a bonus 30% off any bed frame with your mattress purchase. Bedshed. No one's better in the bedroom.
It's time for the cozy season at Maya, with 50% off a range of homewares across tableware, bed linen, cookware and more. And don't forget, Maya One members can earn credits on every purchase. Conditions apply.
Maya, my store.
Around every corner of this old place, someone is hiding something. There's a question that hangs in the air like smoke, and only one of us knows the answer. Celebrating over 70 thrilling years on the West End, now in Newcastle, Agatha Christie's masterpiece, The Mousetrap. Directed by theatre icon Robin Nevin and starring stage legends Geraldine Turner and Jerry Connolly. 2 weeks only from May 11 at the Civic Theatre Newcastle. Book at themousetrap.com.au.
A wet Sunday for much of the Hunter, locations from Newcastle to Merriwar picking up around 20 millimetres in the 24 hours to 9 a.m, with more falls throughout the course of today. An extra 8 millimetres at Nobbies and Williamtown until 3 p.m. These shots from Tea Gardens, which copped a big drenching with flash flooding in residential streets. The radar showed the heaviest of the rain focused on Port Stephens today. The satellite shows cloud across much of the eastern seaboard in humid winds as driving showers, most intense over coastal New South Wales with a few storms and a coastal trough. Tomorrow, scattered showers along eastern Australia, again heaviest on the New South Wales coast where humid onshore winds will be strongest. A high will keep much of the remainder of the country dry apart from southern WA. Cloudy with rain for much of the day, heaviest in the regions north and along the coast with some thunderstorms. A top of just 18 at Nobbies and Williamtown, 19 for Maitland today, 11 to 18 at Merriwar. Tomorrow, cloudy with a very high chance of showers and a thunderstorm along the coastal fringe. Moderate southerlies strengthening and turning southeasterly during the morning. 14 to 22 for Newcastle, 21 the top for Toronto and Maitland, 19 for Muswellbrook and Scone. Coastal waters information for tomorrow: seas and swell at 2 metres. A strong wind warning, southeasterlies up to 30 knots. The sun to rise at 6:30 and set at 10 past 5. The morning high tide at 6:30 a.m. And our outlook for Newcastle: heavy rainfall forecast again tomorrow with up to 25 millimetres expected. Tuesday, partly cloudy with a high chance of showers about the lower Hunter, but certainly easing midweek. For Scone, showers possible tomorrow. Some cool mornings ahead for the upper Hunter. 6 millimetres possible tomorrow with a top of 19 degrees. And finally for Gosford, more rain tomorrow on already sodden ground. 3 to 30 millimetres forecast. And that is NBN News for this Sunday. Lego Masters is up next, followed by 60 Minutes, and there will be more news at 9:40. Enjoy your evening. Good night.